Hey Gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey and that is the 2023 Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek Edition, their most off-road capable version of their three-row crossover SUV. And in this video, I'm going to take you on a tour of this one, show you a little bit of what it can do off-road before taking it back on-road. Stay tuned. All right, Gearheads, before we get too far into this one, I do want to thank Nissan for bringing this to us to test for a full week for you to see and show you what it's like living with it. I will say we were first at the introduction of this very model at the State Fair of Texas last fall. We're coming up on it again this year. And then we were able to drive it very shortly thereafter at the Texas Truck Rodeo at a small off-road event, but this is our first chance to actually live with it for a week, see what it's like both on-road and off-road, find out some of its unique characteristics. But since we've got the hood open, I do want to go ahead and talk about the powertrain of this one. You can see it is a transversely mounted 3.5 liter direct injection V6. So yes, this is a front wheel drive bias platform, but it uses Nissan's intelligent 4x4 system and has 7 drive and terrain modes, which we'll get into here in a little bit when we get inside. Power numbers on this one, 284 horsepower and 259 pound-feet of torque on regular fuel, but if you put premium in it, this one does get a little bit of a power bump over all other Pathfinder models at 295 horsepower, 270 pound-feet of torque. So nice little power boost there. And then we also get all of that mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission, no more CVT. Closing the hood of this, I've got a lot to talk about with the Pathfinder. So this is a nameplate nearly as old as I am. It debuted as a 1987 model year, which means it came around late 1986, much like yours truly. And there is a lot of heritage design inspired with this one, but this is an old vehicle in other rights. So the 4th generation of this platform was the first crossover CUV version that was a unibody, no longer body on frame. And this 2023, which was updated for 2022, is essentially a heavily facelift version of that. Much like what Nissan has done with both the Frontier and the Z, they have heavily reworked an existing platform. So in reality, this 2023 model dates back all the way to the 2013 model year. It just has an all-new look, new powertrain, new transmission, all the new stuff that really matters for your daily livability. But now that we've got the hood closed, we can talk about some of those design elements that really set this one apart as a Rock Creek and set this one apart as the new 5th generation. So, like I said, it is built heavily on the 4th generation platform with all new sheet metal, all new interior, new powertrain, essentially everything that matters outside of the actual bones of the vehicle. Up front, you get a new version of Nissan's V-Motion grille, and Nissan is very proud of bringing back these 3 kind of portholes in the grille that pay homage, there we go, those are the words, to the original Pathfinder, though they're completely pointless. They're purely aesthetic. There's nothing actually feeding air through into the engine bay. In fact, looking at this grille, the entire top portion is actually cut off from feeding air. So it is just this lower portion that actually gives air to the engine. And then we've got some additional air inlets down here. Overall, though, it is a very handsome upgrade and design, much more rugged looking than the model it replaced. The outgoing model very much felt like a minivan. This still has some of those characteristics, but being the Rock Creek version is definitely more rugged when it comes to it. You get all that black plastic cladding down below. You get that black V-Motion grille versus a chrome one. You get a lot of dark accents, contrasting accents. It's a really nice look on this particular model. You can see up front, we do have some LED lighting elements in this one, but the turn signal is incandescent, so something to note there. Coming around to the side, again, we get all those requisite black plastic accents for the fact that this is an off-road capable vehicle. But coming down here, this is perhaps the best upgrade of the Rock Creek Edition. The Toyo Open Country tires wrapped on these Beadlock style, keyword there, Beadlock style wheels. It's a very nice, very aggressive look. These are actually similar tires to what we have on our Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk. They aren't the factory ones from the purchase of the vehicle anymore. We've got nearly 80,000 miles on ours. We've liked the tire overall. They are a little bit noisy, but you can see there's some nice tread on these that shows that they are just a little bit more aggressive than what you would expect on a 3-row family hauler. Coming in closely here, I did want to show you the size. They are 265/60 R18s. So if you're interested there, but very nice tread pattern on those. And because of both that wheel and tire package and some of the tweaks to the off-road suspension, we actually get 5/8 inch of lift on this Rock Creek Edition. So you've got a little bit of additional ground clearance underneath it. All this translates to a package that is set to compete with the likes of the Kia Sorento X-Line, which we've tested here on the channel and is a very fun vehicle. And perhaps I would say the Ford Explorer, what is that, the Timberline Edition. I will say the Explorer is really the king of the class of this kind of tweener 3-row mid-size crossover. And they have really set the bar in a lot of areas. That new Timberline Edition is more than this particular model right off the bat by $3,000. So the Ford Explorer starts at $48,000. Our tester here is just over $45,000. So that's where this Nissan Pathfinder really wins out against all of its competition, including its main rival from Ford in price. In fact, we tested a Platinum edition of this. It was a 22 model here on the channel a while back, and really loved its value versus its feature set. It turned out to be a really good vehicle all the way around. Living with this one a little bit longer, I've got some thoughts on this Rock Creek trim because it is based off a lower trim level than that Platinum. But if you're looking for that rugged look, that off-road ability, the 200-pound capable roof rack up top, this definitely exudes a different attitude than that Platinum trim that we tested previously on this channel. To let others know that you've got the off-road version, not only do you get those wheels and tires and all the black cladding, but you get the Rock Creek badge here on the side. I really like how they have embossed Pathfinder here on the rear door. And then you do get that black roof on this white one. It really contrasts very nicely. I really do like the upgrades to the look of this. Over the outgoing model, they really made this one look much more tough and rugged, and it really comes across. And I do believe it will appeal to a wider market than the model it replaces, even though deep down inside it is a very similar vehicle. But again, they've upgraded everything that really matters. Coming back to the back, again, I have been a huge fan of spelling out either the names or the brands on vehicles, much like the Kia Telluride used to say Telluride across the hood. This very prominently says Pathfinder across the back. And yes, we get another Rock Creek badge and a black 4-wheel drive badge. All that translates to a very nice, tough, rugged look back here. You can see we do have a trailer hitch because this thing is capable of towing up to 6,000 pounds, which is very competitive in this class. And then we're going to come back here and lift up the manual hatch. So yes, this does undercut the competition in price by about $3,000, but you do sacrifice a few things. And very interesting that at $45,000 you have a manual hatch back here in the back. And then you can see, yes, we do have 3 rows of seats. We actually have 3 seats across here in the back. So we've got 2, 2, 3 for a total of 7. We will get inside and do an interior seating test here in just a little bit. But with this 3rd row of seats up, you are very limited on your rear cargo space. I do like how our Rock Creek gets this cargo mat that goes up the backs of the seats and down into the lower portion back here. I will say you get 16.6 cubic feet as Nissan describes it here with the seats up, 45 with them down, 80.5 with those second row folded down. That's a lot of words in one. But headrests fold very easily and nicely so that you can fold the seat forward here. I'm going to go ahead and fold that one forward, and you can see, just like I said, the fact that this actually connects so that you're not getting a bunch of dirt in between the seat back and the cargo floor back here. I will show you, this is reclined right now. Go ahead and pull this side back up to its most upright position. You can see how much recline you get back here, and that really cuts into your cargo space. So if you've got the seats up and reclined to a comfortable seating position, you're really cramped on cargo. But Nissan does give you some additional storage down here. There's actually a lot of storage hiding underneath this panel here. You can probably get some kids' bags, some additional bags hidden under here, no problem. And then you can fold that down all around, very nice. But let's close this manual hatch and we'll climb in and see what it's like in all 3 rows of this Nissan Pathfinder. All right, before we get too far into this one, I do want to show you the key. Typical Nissan key, very much like the kicks that we had earlier this year. A little dissimilar to the Nissan Zs that we've had here on the channel, but I like it. It is small, it is compact. It'll slide into a purse or a pocket, wherever you keep your key, very easily. It is a proximity key, but you do have lock and unlock, as well as a panic button and remote start on here if you need it. And you can release a physical key if you absolutely need it. Like I said, you can keep it in your pocket because it is a proximity key. Coming up to the vehicle, you can lock it by pushing those lines right there, not on the back doors, just on the front door. And then to unlock it, you simply touch the back of the door handle, pull it and open. And then you can see this one is based on a lower trim level, so we do not get leather seats, but we get Rock Creek specific leatherette and cloth seats. We'll get more into that here in just a bit, but orange is the name of the game on the inside here. Lots of orange accents from the contrasting stitching here. I do believe the typical Nissan lighting is orange, but it is nice when it all ties together like that. You get your door lock buttons up here. They are rather small and very high up. Very interesting placement for them. Right above your mirror controls and all your window controls with window lockout. It does look like all 4 are power up down. Over here, you do get a power driver's seat with lumbar, but the passenger seat is manual, so just something to note there. And believe it or not, this Pathfinder, this 3-row SUV, does have something in common with my 2012 5th generation Camaro. I'm going to go ahead and bring you around here. Yes, I am comparing a Nissan Pathfinder to a Camaro, and I can say this from owning one for a year. The window line of this seems very high, especially here in the passenger seat, which, like I said, is a manual passenger seat. Just seems like it is sitting down in a hole. The window line is actually level with the back of the seat. So seeing my 5-foot wife ride shotgun, she very much felt and looked like she was sitting in a hole. While these windows are very good size, it just feels like there is a lot of vehicle above the windows, and it gives the overall interior a very big feeling that I don't know is just the best. I don't know. We'll get more into that as we're driving, but it is nice and hot and warm here in Texas, so I'm going to put my foot on the brake, push the engine start stop button, let it fire up, and show you exactly what we've got going on here with the Nissan Pathfinder. This being the Rock Creek, again, like I said, it is based on the lower trims. I believe it's the SL. You do get this digital helper screen right here, but it is not my favorite. Depending on what you do, it likes to go to different screens and stay there. So case in point, the ProPilot Assist button right here, I'm going to press it and you can see right here, I'm on the digital readout of my speed, but I'm going to push ProPilot Assist and now it goes to all my driver assist stuff and then it never goes back. So this is what we are left with. So if I really enjoyed having that digital readout in front of me, but I wanted to turn ProPilot Assist on, that's not my favorite. And then to get back to that screen that I originally wanted, there, just kind of go back through. And we do have several different readouts here that can show you different things on the vehicle, but again, very interesting that pushing that button takes you to a completely different screen. Let's go ahead and start over my left knee and work my way across. Here we have our brightness control for the gauges right here. Here is another version of the active driver assistance features on here. This is your steering assist button. Helps keep you in the lane. We'll get to that when we're out on the road. Otherwise, the steering wheel is rather nice. It is a typical Nissan steering wheel. You can see it is a little bit of a flat bottom steering wheel as well. Not too much button overload here, though it's not my favorite layout. Again, some of the things just kind of feel a little off with this one. We do have paddles for that 9-speed automatic transmission back behind it, and the visibility through to the gauges is absolutely stellar. They have done a great job of making sure you can actually see back there. I will show you that it is a manual, tilt, and telescope wheel as well. So if you're interested, not power, but manual, tilt, and telescope. So I like that fairly well. We do get analog speed and tach, as well as your temperature and fuel gauge. So otherwise, fairly basic, fairly decent, nothing too crazy there. We get a rather smallish 8-inch infotainment system here. It is not the best. It's been super laggy on me. You can see it's just a little on the slow side. It does have wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and you can see USB-C inputs for that. So they are at least up to date with that. So that's rather nice. We do have a dedicated camera button here with 360 surround view monitor. That is another hallmark of this being a Rock Creek. So you can see we're looking out in front of us right now. We do have trajectory, and then we've got that full bird's eye 360. We'll get more into that here in just a little bit. And then you press it again and you can actually see the passenger side tire, and it gives you little indications of exactly where your corners are. I like that a whole lot. This will also be triggered by your parking sensors if need be, so I like that. And if you want to see a full front view, you can see it right there, but at speed that option does kind of go away on you. We do have tri-zone automatic climate control. Works fairly well. Your rear controls are actual physical buttons here, and I like it. It works very well. We'll get more into the rear ventilation when we get back into the second and third row seats. We get heated front seats, not ventilated. Again, lower trim, nothing too spectacular here. I will say, living with this one, I have noticed a little bit of a quirk. This dark chrome strip has caught the sunlight more times than I care to admit, and has given me a bright shining glare right in my eye line. It's this beveled edge, this top portion is really catching the light. Here is my eye line right now. You can see just how much of the trees it's reflecting in it. If you turn a certain way, it's going to grab that sunlight and reflect it right back in your face. No Qi wireless charger in this one, but I did show you the power outlets back here. There's even a cigarette style outlet right there, but USB-C, there is a USB-A up here as well. A little bit of storage, a couple cup holders, 9-speed automatic transmission with Nissan's typical electronic gear selector. I've gotten used to it, no complaints there. Electronic parking brake with brake hold, auto start stop. I will say that being a Texan in Texas in July, when I come to a stop sign, the gauge cluster actually tells me that it is choosing not to disable the engine, not to stop the engine, because it is preferring to keep the air conditioning going. So huge plus on that Nissan. I really, really appreciate that. More Rock Creek badge here on the center console. Very nice and large. There is a little section here for, I guess, change. And you can store maybe a pen, some business cards up here, or a tire pressure monitor if you're a little old school like that. All around, very nice. Like I said, they are leatherette and cloth. Very interesting cloth. I'm curious how easy these would be to clean if you got them dirty. They feel like they'd be easy, but very just interesting cloth section here in the middle. We do not have a sunroof in ours, so Again, talking about how big this vehicle feels, it feels very large. I do have my seat higher than the passenger seat, just so I can see up over the hood, over the high window sills and everything in this. You sit very low in this vehicle, and there just seems to be a lot of space inside here. Just something to note. Let's hop in that back seat. Moving to the back seat, again, I really like some of the design lines on this one. These very big bulges over the rear fenders give you a very masculine look. And then opening the door, you can see we get a nice wide opening to the back seats here. There are no sunshades on this model, so again, just something to note if you're looking for a very creature comfort friendly vehicle. This is more focused towards off-roading. I will note though, lots of storage here in the door. There's a very big pocket here, 2 cup holders here, 2 bottle holders down here. So lots of drinks, lots of hydration. I need it here in an East Texas summer. Before I get in the seat, I do want to show you, these are captain's chairs. They're leatherette and cloth like the ones up front. They're manual recline, and unfortunately for you, this button is not working for me right now. Hopefully before our family review, I can get this fixed and show you exactly how great these seats tip and fold forward. Even when a child seat is put in place, you don't have to remove a child seat. So that is a huge plus, especially in this segment. If you plan on using a third row and have a child seat in place, it is something that would be a strong selling point for me. This is a very dark interior without the sunroof up above, so I'm going to do my best to show you what I can in this one. My bright white legs will show you just how much leg room I have between myself here in the second row and the front row. This is a very stadium style seating arrangement. I am sitting up quite a bit higher than the seat in front of me. I already told you I had the driver's seat up higher than the passenger seat, but you get a nice view out of the windshield back here. And it is a nice stadium style view, so definitely not something to negate when shopping in this class. I will say we've got a map pocket here, a map pocket here. We do have rear AC controls, so I like that a whole lot. Not only can you access and change it from up front there, you can change it from the back of the center console. And perhaps my favorite thing, I'll show you over here, it's going to be a little easier. Roof mounted vents. That is an absolute win for us here in East Texas. I'm going to turn those fans down so they aren't blaring. Roof mounted vents just do a much better job getting air back to these back seats, especially when Tucker was in a rear facing car seat. We just felt so bad for him in the summer and could not get air from the back of center console mounted air vents. We were very worried that he was just going to be way too hot back here. So huge kudos to Nissan for putting those roof mounted vents in. And then you can see I do have an adjustable armrest here. I also have more storage here in a center console, 2 cup holders, a deep well of storage right here. And I'm going to go ahead and show you there's a removable panel on the front of this that gives way to a latch where this entire system comes out. So if for whatever reason you didn't like that, didn't want it, you can remove that, and then you've got this open floor space here where you could put a basket of toys for between 2 kids. You can put whatever you want back here, but you get this hard plastic section right here. So again, flexibility of options, I really like that. I'm gonna go ahead and show you just how easy it is to put this back into place. One-handed, just clips in just like that, and then go ahead and put that panel back on the front, and now we've got our center console back in place once more. This being the Rock Creek, I didn't show you up front, but we get Rock Creek branded floor liners in here that do a great job of holding in the dirt and debris. They are molded to fit, so I like that very much. And then a sliding second row seat. So even with the seat all the way forward behind myself at 5'10", I've got enough room that I'm not touching. I'm still very comfortable. I haven't even shown you headroom back here is very good. Headroom has never been a problem in this vehicle. Again, the theme of it is it feels like you're very low and you have tons of vehicle up above you. Same is true here in the stadium style second row. I'm gonna leave this seat exactly where it is because Tucker's seat over there is in its far back position. We're gonna pop out and do our best to show you exactly what the third row seat space is like. And again, unfortunately, with this tilt and slide function not working, I can only show you how easy it is to get back there by folding the seat back down and then scooting the seat forward. Again, these do tilt and fold forward, so I would have even more room to get in the back if these were working properly. Still unsure of what's going on. Hopefully, like I said, by our family review, we figure that out. Before I climb back in the back, we even get some floor mats back here for the third row of seats, but very nice. Again, I want to make sure that that seat is all the way forward, and we've got a nice little stair step to get in here and climb up to the back. I'm going to go ahead and flip all three headrests up. And we've got a couple of options here. This one is upright. This is reclined fully. Let's see exactly what it's like sitting back here. So again, headroom, not a problem. The least amount of headroom out of all three rows, but that's no surprise here. I've got a nice view out the window. It is a little on the small side, but no major complaints there. But oh, third row even gets ceiling mounted vents, so another big plus right there. I get a couple cup holders here on the side, and that is still true on the passenger side. No USB power back here, so that's just something to note. I will also call out there is a little clip to store the seat belt, so that made it easy climbing in and out, especially if you are dealing with a child seat situation and don't need the seat belt. Foot space between the tracks is a little narrow, so I'm probably going to be sitting more like this. But let's go ahead and flip this seat up if I can, one-handed. Let's see, there we go. Pulling the second row seat up, again, it is in its upright position. This one is slid all the way forward, but I've got plenty of legroom back here. Behind the second row, my foot space, you know, it's not great. I am sitting a little more on the floor. You can see just how much my legs are up off the seat, but they're not in my chin, so it's not terrible. And again, if these buttons were working, I could get out very easily. Let's move over here and see what it's like sitting behind a seat that is fully slid back. And again, I'm 5'10". If you haven't known, but yes, much more cramped back here, but all the excess room that was in that second row when I was sitting there, you could definitely negotiate with second row passengers in this one. I'm also cramped in here because the seat is completely upright, so if I wanted to recline, that's much better. So it is a nice, a decent, and easy to use third row when these second row buttons are working appropriately. There are 3 seats across back here. I would not put a third unless you're talking about small children, in which case you really don't have to worry about moving these seats forward at all. And I don't know if you noticed back on the back, there are top tethers all the way across back there. So you could put some child seats back here if you needed to in a pinch. That would work. But that's enough talking about this one. We are out in the woods. Let's see what this is like, both off-road and then get it out on the road and see how it drives. All right, getting in, getting my seatbelt on, getting comfortable in the 2023 Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek. We'll go ahead and show you, we have 7 different drive modes right here. It defaults to normal every single time, but we can turn to the right for Eco, Sport, and Tow, turn to the left for Snow, which is currently not available, Mud Rut, and Sand. I am going to put it in Mud Rut. Sand allows for a little extra slippage. Mud Rut is more what I am seeing out here in front of me. Put it in drive. You can see my cameras are on. I get that corner view camera. That is very nice right here as well. Again, we have 5/8 inch more ground clearance in this than your standard Pathfinder. So a little, not a lot, just enough to give you a little more confidence when traveling off-road. This really is going to be happiest on a country trail, going someplace, maybe out to a cabin in the woods. It's kind of the situation I'm at here. I'm on somebody's property, my photographer's property, just kind of exploring his land. And that's really what this is more suited for. This is not a rock crawler. Even though it's called the Rock Creek, I don't think you would really want to be taking this on too serious of adventures. But we did take this on our Texas Auto Riders Texas Truck Rodeo Trail, and it performed quite well out there. All around, it's a very competent three-row crossover SUV. And you do have to remember, this is a front-wheel drive biased platform. This is something that hasn't gotten extensive upgrades for off-road use. It is good, not great. This is not going to be your Jeep Wrangler or even Jeep Grand Cherokee competitor when it comes to off-road ability. But if you are in a situation where the terrain just gets a little bit out of control between your different off-road drive modes and those upgraded wheels and tires, that a little bit extra ground clearance you get on the Rock Creek version here, you're in good hands with Nissan. This is going to be more than enough for the people that are typically buying it and loading it up for a family adventure. Again, you have 3 rows of seats, you have pretty decent storage space in this, and then that roof rack can hold up to 200 pounds. So you can really load this down for a nice camping adventure and then see where the Pathfinder takes you. I know even the commercials do a little bit more than I am doing here in this one, but again, this is more the type of terrain most Pathfinders, most owners are going to take their off-road capable vehicles. And we already have that full off-road test of the one last year at the truck rodeo just after the vehicle's launch. But yeah, it's a good off-road vehicle. I do like the 9-speed automatic transmission a whole lot better than any CVT I've ever experienced. I like that we actually get gears, and that is a huge plus. So big upgrades did come to the new Pathfinder, and I really like it here with this Rock Creek edition. Getting back out onto the road, I'm going to go ahead and put it back into normal drive mode and set off and drive down the road. It is a comfortable 3-row family cruiser. Those Toyo open country tires are a little noisier, so again, a little bit of the trade-off of having that rugged off-road look, you do have to pay for it a little bit. It also comes down to the fuel economy, which I'm going to go ahead and pull out the window stickers here. The fuel economy numbers are rated at 20 city, 23 highway, 20 combined from that 3.5 liter V6. And we'll talk more about what we're actually getting when we do our family review. You saw I had this one idling quite a bit while filming today just because of how warm it is. We'll give you a little bit more of our realistic fuel economy numbers in that family review, but very comfortable 3-row family hauler. The V6, we're gonna test it out here in just a little bit when we get out on the highway, but it's got a decent amount of power. Again, with this 9-speed automatic transmission, it does a good job of finding the power band right where you need it. It's not hunting and searching, but it does take a little while to actually find the gear when you're in motion. So maybe these paddles might come more in handy than I am used to when it comes to 3-row family haulers and paddle shifters on the backs of the steering wheels. Going back to the driving position of this one, I do feel very low in it, even in my power height adjustable driver's seat. The windows just feel like they're very high up on me. There's a ton of room up above me. Again, it kind of gives me my Camaro vibes, you know, outside of all the headroom that I actually get in this one. but the just overall sitting down low in it feels a lot like my Camaro that I had back in 2012. But I'm betting the acceleration will not remind me of my Camaro SS. Let's see what this is like getting out on the highway. It'll pull, and again, 9-speed automatic, you can actually feel it going through the gears. It's not the wet blanket that CVTs typically are to a good powertrain. It's decent. It's comparable to the mid-size 3-row crossovers it competes against. Again, most notably, I would say the Kia Sorento X-Line and the Ford Explorer Timberline Edition. Those are probably the two biggest competitors. We've tested the Kia before on the channel, still looking to get our hands on one of those Ford Explorers. But I will say, again, where this beats the Ford, $3,000 price savings over a base model Ford Timberline Edition. So this one, as it's spec'd, is just over $45,000, which again brings me back to what I like so much about the Platinum that we drove a couple of years ago. It is a really good value in the class. Yes, you give up some in luxuries here in this one versus some of the other trims. Yes, you give up some luxuries in this over perhaps even that Kia that I referenced. But if you are familiar with Nissan, if you like them as a brand, if you like the new bold, rugged look of this, which I will say this one does look a little more rough and tumble, then I would say definitely the Kia, maybe the Ford, but that's kind of in the eye of the beholder. This one might be for you. Is it going to change Nissan for the future? No. Will it save them from potential collapse as they are in a sticky situation right now? Not entirely, but is this vehicle going to bankrupt them? Absolutely not. It is a completely competent entry into the segment that undercuts the sales leaders and does a good all-around job at everything that you could ask of it. If you want to see more from us, our family review of this, where Holly drives this one more around downtown, she gives her thoughts on it, be sure and hit that subscribe button, ring the bell so you're notified when that video drops later this week. You can find us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, the new Threads app. Everything is at GT Garage Talk, or you can go read more about this, some things I couldn't think of off the top of my head while driving, by going to gtgaragetalk.com. But as for me, behind the wheel of the 2023 Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek. Until next time, gearheads. Bye. Come on. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.